You don't strike me as a guy who has trouble on Tinder, but okay.
How's it going? Good start. How's it going, guys? It's Joel here. I'm here with the one and only Matt Damon. Great to meet you, Matt. And we're gonna be asking some questions, something to do with The Great Wall, new movie. Absolutely loved it. Before we get into that though, do you know what Tinder is?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so I need a little bit of help with it, okay? Is it alright if we get a selfie? I just need you to like pretend that we're boys, you know? We'll pretend you like me, basically, okay? I know that might be a little bit hard, but...
You don't strike me as a guy who has trouble on Tinder, but okay.
Greatest compliment of my life, right there. Do you mind just holding this, please?
Oh, yeah, all right.
Do you know what this means?
I do. I have a friend on Tinder, unfortunately.
All right, phone back. Any more questions? So my question's on my phone. I'm not just checking my Facebook. So from start to finish, like obviously so much goes into it and it just comes out as a finished product, a film. How long does it take to film from start to finish?
Well, this one was, because this is really the biggest movie I've ever been a part of. It's just massive. And so the production side, we lived in China. I brought my family over there. I think we were there for probably 5.5 months. So, but that's just the shooting part. Like the pre-production is years of just planning and, construction, building, like all this stuff that they had to do. And then there's the whole element of the monsters, and those go in post-production. So we finished shooting this in August of 2015, and then I went and did the Jason Bourne movie. I've done 3 movies since this. So this has been in post-production as they kind of designed the monsters and did all of that stuff. So this was a really long one. This was years and years for this.
It's mad, like I haven't actually moved for it, like the commitment it takes.
Yeah, but that's actually one of the great parts of the job. Like once you give into it, is you travel a lot. And
can't complain too much.
I loved it. Like when I was your age and kind of up through into my 30s, I just had a duffel bag and I just went everywhere. And then I got married and had kids, and now I try to kind of limit, because I want to give them, I want to keep them in school and give them kind of some normalcy in their lives. But every once in a while, something like this comes along, and it's an adventure for the whole family. We all move to China. Yeah,
it's awesome. All right, so. With my YouTube videos, sometimes I have to take a couple takes of things. I mess up the intro, which I did with this one. Great start. But obviously, it doesn't have to be perfect. Right. In a movie, how many takes does sometimes it take? Like a rough estimate for each scene or each line or whatever?
It really takes, it changes. It could be any, it's why when you kind of messed up, I chuckled, because we do it all the time. You go to work, it's all kind of a rehearsal, because it doesn't matter, right? You're not on stage.
Okay, so if you take a couple takes sometimes, I don't feel too bad. I don't feel too bad now.
You have to keep going when you're on stage. You have to figure your way through it. We just go again in a movie, and I've seen, oftentimes you're really rehearsed, you're ready. Someone like Clint Eastwood does 1 take, and he very rarely does 2. Someone like David Fincher will do 50 takes. He's very, very particular, you know what I mean? And so it just kind of depends on the speed. Each movie kind of ends up taking on its own speed in a way, and you're ready to do it on the first take. Sometimes you end up working with Clint Eastwood and you gotta have it ready on the first take. Oftentimes you'll do it, and I remember, like Scorsese would always say, okay, that was great. Once he got one that he liked, he goes, that was great, 2 more. Yeah. And that was a way of saying, instead of 1 more, don't worry, there's no pressure. We're gonna do a couple more, and just try something different. It's always nice to try to give the editor a couple options.
Yeah, good options. All right. You and Commander Lin, I was watching the film, I was thinking, is it gonna happen? It's gotta happen. What happened?
Well, I kind of like it's not one of those. I think you expect it to go into that kind of Hollywood love story, but they just have this real kind of respect and regard for each other, and they appreciate each other, and they're friends. You know what I mean? I kind of like that. It was a little less obvious, I think.
So moving a little bit away from the movie, no socials, right? You have no socials.
Right, I'm on Instagram.
Oh, you're on Instagram. Yeah. Okay. So someone told me yesterday, I'm gonna have words, that no socials, but...
No, it's just a private Instagram. I think I've posted...
Oh, is it private?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
No, it's just I follow a few people.
Oh, okay.
My daughter.
What's that about? So, I couldn't bear to live without my Twitter.
I know. I'm a generation ahead of you, and so I didn't grow up with it. I didn't, and I have friends who are my age who are completely...
Obsessed with it,
and, the reality for me is I don't have anything against it. My life is just so full. I have 4 kids, I've got a full-time job, and then I've got water.org, which is this foundation that I put a lot of time into. I don't really have time for anything else. So
That's incredible, then.
So that's kind of why it's nothing against social media.
Oh, of course not. No, I almost wish I was that way.
Right.
Didn't spend half my life on flipping Twitter. What would you say was maybe a big breakthrough point in your career?
There were a bunch of them. I think that was the lesson. I think I was brought up. I came up in the business believing that it was one break, but it's not one break. They're kind of stages, you know. And as an actor, it's like, you know, you kick around for a while, and you start to. Casting directors start to know who you are, and they start bringing you in, even for things you're not totally right for, because they believe that you're going to give a good reading, and they want to show the director they're bringing a variety of people in who are good. And so that's kind of one hurdle. And then, you know, you start getting called back for auditions, and you know, and then directors start to want you, but the studio doesn't, and that's another kind of, and you know. And then obviously for us, Good Will Hunting, when we wrote that and we're in it, like that was a huge major breakthrough, but it was really on the back of all this stuff. I mean, Good Will Hunting came out, I was 27, and I got into the union when I was 16. So everybody said, oh, you're an overnight success. And I was like, yeah, in 11 years. But there's so much of that kind of foundational work you're doing as a young actor when you're just kind of kicking around, trying to make a name for yourself.
Moving on from that kind of a little bit, did you, like, obviously you would never, like, you didn't start this successful, kind of a bit of a deep question, but did you always believe that you'd make it like this?
I always believed I'd work. Like once I got out to, you know, when I was in New York and LA, like, and getting good feedback, like that, you know, that feedback is really everything, because you don't really, the jobs, one person gets the job, right? And thousands of people go up for the job. And maybe 20 people get pretty close, and 5 people get really close, and you know, or 3 people get really close, and 1 person gets it. And so once you start being in that final 20 or that final 5 or that final 3, even when you don't get the job, like you don't have anything to show for it, but you do know that you made an impact, and so that, I think, getting those signals back, like I was around a lot of young actors, like, you know, Ben, obviously we were living together, Matthew McConaughey was starting out, Edward Norton, you know, you'd hear the same name, you'd hear, you know, and those people are all still around today, and that's not an accident. I think that you know, those casting directors kind of early on really they know what they're doing. A
little bit of a off topic now. What car do you drive, and what was your dream car growing up?
Okay, well, our dream car growing up was Ben and I, his roommate in college, parents had a Range Rover. And I remember Ben got to borrow it once because they were up and he came down, and I was a sophomore in college or junior in college, and he picked me up in the Range Rover, and we went, oh man, someday I'm gonna get one of these things. So that was our dream car. In fact, when we moved to LA, we genuinely thought about pooling all the money that we had from this movie contract for School Ties, and pooling it and buying a Range Rover, which meant we wouldn't have enough money to eat or live anywhere.
Who needs food when you got a Range Rover?
Right? So we actually had that discussion at 20 years old. But you know, life goes on. Now I drive a Tesla.
Do you have any, obviously it's not for me, I'm just asking for a friend. Do you have any like little girl advice you could give?
You know, I was hopeless with girls.
Really?
I really was not, yeah. I remember in fact, when I was doing The Bourne Identity, I went to Prague to finish the movie, and on a Saturday night, one of my friends was visiting from the States, and he was like, let's go out. And I said, yeah, okay. And you know, we found some guys on the crew. They said, oh, we're gonna go to this nightclub. We went, okay. So we went to the nightclub, and there were these Czech women that were like all 6 feet tall, and like, you know, they all looked like supermodels. And I was kind of standing in the corner, and a girl walked by, and I went, hello. And she looked at me and literally went, and walked away. And I went, oh, that was rude. All right. And then another woman walked by and went, hello. And she went,
I really hope they're watching this now.
This happened like 5 times. And then my friend said, oh my God, they have no idea who you are. They've never seen any of your movies. And you've got no moves. You got no moves. And so my name became Matty No Moves.
No.
Yeah, Matty No Moves is what my friends call me.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
find someone
I
else
just
to help
wasn't
my
you know,
friends.
Ben was always really good at, he could start a conversation with a rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he just was always like that.
So are they as good with girls as it's made out to be?
No, I mean, I think a lot of the things you see in movies, it's like it's never that easy, you know. But some of them, I think it just depends. I think I think it depends on the person. It's not
Okay.
about being an actor.
Yeah.
It's who they really are.
Yeah,
Like,
of course. All right, thank you very much,
yeah.
Matt.
All right, Jeff.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate
very
it.
much.
It's a good one.
Guys, quickly, just at the end of this video, I wanted to say a massive thank you to all of you guys who supported me, because I wouldn't have got an opportunity like this through Universal, so also thank you to them, to go to LA, interview Matt Damon, and have just a sick experience and trip in total. LA was so sick, and it wouldn't have been possible without you guys. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm sorry if I was a little bit nervous, shitting myself throughout this, but I started off a little bit nervous. Hope you guys enjoyed it anyway, and I'll see you guys on a video tomorrow.